Pool guy? I
Yeah.
noticed you play that quite a while.
I love pool. I could sit at a pool table all day and play over and over again.
For this, do you just do it, kind of a stress reliever before practice or something
Yeah.
to just bond with
Yeah,
teammates?
me and Keenan play a lot. We always meet here about an hour before practice starts and get a couple games in before.
Who's better? Is it Cutter or because I see you play?
Oh,
with Cutter
definitely me.
sometimes.
Yeah, Cutter too.
Yeah.
At Cutter, I play with Keenan a lot. I beat him all.
How's Keenan? Is he good?
He's all right.
So why did he just say you're horrible?
Oh, I just beat him best out of 3, so I don't know what he's talking about.
A little salty, maybe.
Yeah. No, we play a lot, but I don't know. It's just fun, something to do, something to brag about.
Hey, going back to this week, so going back to your loss at Oklahoma, or not loss at Minnesota, then your win at Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
What flipped for you to have a performance where you lose with riding time to where you win and put your team in a position to win?
I think just takedowns. I got 2 takedowns in the match last weekend, whereas during the Minnesota duel I didn't get any. I kind of got shut out that duel. So, yeah, that really made the difference. Obviously, getting off bottom as well. I struggled to get off bottom during with that Minnesota kid, and so that you don't get off bottom, you can't score takedowns. You don't score takedowns, then it's hard to win a match. And so, I think that was the difference. Got off bottom, scored 2 takedowns. Should have had 3, in my opinion. But that was the difference for sure.
When you get into the season, you talked about the biggest change at 84 is kind of a little heavier. How unfamiliar were you with that weight from the Minnesota guy at 84?
Like him as a
not
wrestler?
just him, but just having that weight on top of you.
I haven't really felt any other 84-pounders like him. As far as his riding abilities went, he was pretty grippy on top. He was really good at capturing wrists, and he had really strong grip. And so, that was something that I hadn't felt before. I don't think it was as much as a new weight class. It wasn't just because he was at 84 and there was extra weight or anything like that. I think he was just a good rider. I think his just skills on top were good, better than most.
It's been a while since the last time we talked to you, but have you learned anything new about 84 that, as you're going through the season, you're kind of picking up?
I just gotta wear on guys basically. And I noticed in these first periods that guys are strong. Guys are strong and they're big, and so and the first period is when I got to take advantage of my gas tank, basically, and then obviously in the third too. I think I got a takedown in the first period just this past weekend, but in the matches before, I was scoring most of my points in the third period when guys were getting a little more tired, and so that's something I got to take advantage of, is just being able to wear guys out and keep my breathing under control and be able to move forward in the matches.
Just stamina-wise, you think
stamina-wise.
You think that's a plus for you versus other guys?
I think I got to use that ability to win at this weight.
Travis, in when we talked to Coach, I know he was kind of taking some shots at some of the other guys when he was like Carter Young. He was talking about him. Have you ever been a victim of that, where you're in the locker room and Coach says something to someone else, but he's talking to you too?
Plenty of times.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe not in the locker room, but in the wrestling room, he might, mention something that happened in a match before that was kind of directed towards me, something like that. But he's always saying something to us.
What's your reaction from that? Is it just okay? I gotta be better? Or?
Yeah, he's just making it knowledgeable of something that I gotta fix, or whoever he's directing something towards to. He's just making it knowledgeable. He makes it knowledgeable to the team, not just you, but he makes the team know that there's something that this guy needs to fix. So it's just sometimes you're laughing it off, sometimes it's more of a serious moment. So you just kind of got to play with it.
Can you name one of those funny moments that he may have pulled with you in your few years, or in your multiple years here at Oklahoma State?
I think my redshirt freshman year, so the 2020 year, I was winning every match, but like for the first half of the season, I was winning every match. This is when I was back down at 65, but I think I won like my first 8 to 10 matches by 1 point. And so he was making some jokes about that, even if it didn't matter if the kid wasn't even ranked. or if he was, you know, ranked top 10, I would win by 1 point. And so it wasn't until later in the season I started scoring more points and breaking out and opening up a little bit. But he would always make jokes about me winning by 1 or not scoring enough, or you know, being nervous because I was a freshman, jokes like that and stuff. So
Makes it easier on you?
what?
Do you think it makes it easier on you having a coach that will kind of, I guess, maybe break the ice a little bit?
Yeah.
You know, because it sucks losing,
Yeah.
and it sucks maybe not winning at the chip that you want to,
Mhm.
but kind of having coach realize that, you know, you're working, but you know,
Mhm.
there's still progress to go.
Yeah, it just you know, makes you realize that you know, he's there for you, and he knows what you're struggling with, what you're not struggling with, what you need, what you don't need. And so it makes it knowledgeable and builds a good relationship too, you know, with him and his wrestlers. So it's good.
Travis, you talk about you know, your freshman, you kind of won by 1 point, beat easily, and then you broke out as the season progressed. What's the key to a young wrestlers breaking out? What does it take to kind of find yourself as a young wrestler and start breaking out?
I think it's just controlling your emotions. You know, being able to control the butterflies in your stomach before you go out. You know, instead of wrestling to not lose, wrestling to win. You know, instead of being conservative and not taking any risks because you're scared to get score on.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's how you win by 1, or sometimes lose by 1, or the match gets stolen from you at the end. You know, so I think, you know, for young wrestlers to be able to break out and have some fun at the college level, taking risks, not hesitating, and realizing that you know, in order to win at this level, you're going to have to take some risks and go out and, you know, take some shots that you might not normally take, or you know, work to score harder than you ever have.
Have you seen a lot of that from your younger wrestlers? I know you have guys like a couple first-year starters. I know you have a guy like Connor Doucette. Have you seen him progress since the beginning of the year?
You know, I don't think a lot of our younger guys have broke out yet. When I say broke out, I mean, you know, like I said, taking more risks and shooting more. But it's still early. We've only had 5 matches, you know, and I think for me it was at the Southern Scuffle when I really started making a change towards the style I wanted to wrestle.
Right.
And then from then on, I wrestled a little bit more high intense and scored some more points. So I'm hoping that our next competition, the Scuffle, you know, we'll be able to see some of our younger guys perform and really do well. So.
What was your point of view of Server's pin? Kind of take us through your lens of it.
I just got done wrestling, so I was still in my singlet. I actually went back around the bleachers and I was high-fiving some guys and stuff. They were telling me good job, and I heard the crowd kind of get wild, and I ran out, and Serber was in on a leg, and they kind of got in that scramble. He caught him on his back, and I was jumping up on the back of a chair. I was still in my singlet, sweat rolling off me. I just took my headgear off. That was it. And so I was still acting like I was out there wrestling. I was excited. I was jumping up and down. The whole team was halfway out on the mat, you know. So it was just, you know, it was a great environment. Really fun.
Travis, I know it's kind of hard to say with recency bias, but where does a moment like that rank in terms of dual experience during your time here?
In my career, that was the most fun. I said that right after the duel. Best duel I've been a part of in my career. The other time I can think of when we had an environment that loud was here when we were dueling Iowa. But at that time I was redshirt. I wasn't in the lineup. I didn't wrestle, and so I was just a fan from the stands watching. So this time it was different because I was actually a part of it and got to wrestle and perform, and definitely, the best duel I've been a part of in my career.
What was the locker room celebration like?
It was, I mean, you couldn't even really have a conversation because we were all just yelling. I don't think anybody was even saying anything. We were just screaming.
A lot of pushing.
Yeah, a lot of pushing. I mean, each other hugging and picking each other up, and but as far as conversation went, I don't think you could have one because we were all yelling and screaming and talking about the ref. And, I mean, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it was fun. Definitely a good team moment for us. You know?
How do you rank his celebration? He did a lot. Picked up coach, went and gave it to their sideline a little bit. How do you rank that?
That was awesome. I mean, that's something you love to see. You know, Serber was, he was ready to go no matter what, no matter if a fight broke out or anything, he looked like he wanted to go.
Yeah.
So that's something that you like to see from your teammates, that they're not scared. Yeah.
What during the match just made that duel victory all that much more sweeter at the very end, in your own words? Why was it basically the greatest match that you've been a part of?
The greatest. That's the reason it was the greatest was I think it was just because of how loud it was in there when Serber got a fall. I mean, obviously we were losing the whole duel. We were down and losing multiple matches, and it was OU obviously, so it was a rivalry, and I think they really thought they had us, and they did. I mean, they had us on our heels, and it was getting scary for a minute. Like, you're watching their team score go up and ours is staying the same. And they're watching their team score go up and ours is staying the same. And it's just like, man, we got to figure something out here. So just to have them be so excited and have like jumping to conclusions like they were going to win, they had it in the bag, and then us turn it around right at the end and pick it up. I think that's what made it so special. You know?
What does a comeback like that say about the bottom five in your starting 10?
I mean, it just says that we got each other's backs. You know, we're and ready to perform. You know, if the guy before us doesn't perform, the next guy's got to step out and change it. And I think that's what we did. You know, I think it was just a good bonding moment, and it'll be good momentum going into the rest of the season.
Do you think, going back to what your opinion was on open tournaments, do you think that, being there and wrestling in open tournaments, do you think that they are kind of invaluable to a team throughout the course of the season? Meaning experience for younger guys, say Southern Scuffle, you bring 20 guys, 10 starters, 10 backups. Do you think it's invaluable to keep those in tournaments throughout the course of the season so younger guys can get the reps and without the pressure of dual meets?
You mean like having our guys go?
Yes, yeah,
is
basically
good
for the younger guys.
Yeah.
Do you see it as definitely beneficial, and
Yeah.
you think they should like keep doing them?
Mhm.
And do
Yeah,
more?
I think open tournaments are good, especially for young guys, because there's not a ton of them, and so I think you don't get a lot of. I mean, as a red shirt, or maybe if you're not a starter, you don't get a lot of experience on the mat. And so open tournaments are good because, I mean, these guys need to experience college matches. They need to experience the college level because it's not high school anymore. And even if they're just coming out of high school, they need to be able to feel the differences of the levels and the strength of guys, the intensity of the matches. And so I think it's definitely good for those guys to go.
Travis, how have you seen Dustin kind of embrace this year? I know he's only a sophomore, but he seems like a leader. How have you seen him embrace this role and really become one of the top guys, not only on your team, but in the country as well?
Yeah, I think he's a special guy. He really had a good breakout last year at NCAAs. I think if he went to All-American last year, I don't think he'd be doing what he's doing right now as far as domination wise. I think because he All-American last year, he's got a new level of expectation for himself that he's got to live up to, and I think he's doing that with a lot of success. He's doing really well at that. He's like I said, that tech fall was big for us. It was big for the duel. We needed that, and so it's just awesome to see a guy lead like that, lead the team, get the momentum going. That rolled it right into my match, rolled into Serber's match. So he kind of got a good kickoff for us to go win that duel. He's just a guy that's always doing the right thing, and he's always on task. And so, as far as leadership goes, it's always a good quality to have.